Welcome to the agenda with me, Lasha Kingsley in Douala, Cameroon. The Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has warned that anyone who tries to disrupt the upcoming regional elections in Cameroon will face a life jail term. The warning was directed especially to the leader of the CRM political party, Professor Maurice Kamto, who had said a couple of weeks back that if President Paul Biya called for the regional elections without resolving the Anglophone crisis as well as revise the electoral code, he would take to the streets to obstruct the electoral process. Despite Atanganji's warning, Kamto has gone ahead to fix September 22 as the day for the nationwide protest. We shall equally talk about the Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC, which is crumbling. Joining us on the program today from Canada is a security expert and former commissioner of police with Cameroon Public Security. Helen Esoka talks to the agenda. Welcome to the program. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much. I think it's a pleasure speaking with you as well.
This is the very first time we're having you on the agenda on My Media Prime Television. Can you walk us through your professional and educational backgrounds?
Okay. I'll be very brief because it's quite a long story, but I will give you as much as I can. So I have a bachelor's degree in English private law from Yaoundé University and a maîtrise from Douala University and a diploma in immigration consultancy and an advanced diploma in national security. So that's basically the education I have. And with regards to my professional history, I left the police college year 2000 and I was appointed as the Commissioner for Public Security in the 9th District Police Station in Douala. And a year after that, I was sent to Bonanjo, the 1st District Police Station, as the Public Security Commissioner as well. And in 2003, I was transferred to New Bell, the 2nd District Police Station, as the Public Security Commissioner. And in 2005, I was sent to Boya at the regional delegation attached to the Central Police Station. I worked there for a few years where I was sent to Tico as a Commissioner for Special Branch. I worked there for 4 years, and after that I was sent to Muyuka as a Commissioner for Public Security in Muyuka. I wasn't there for long, and I was sent to Boya as the regional coordinator of services, what we call the police of Southwest Region. So I had Southwest Region to take care of. I worked for 1 year and I resigned in 2015 and came to Canada.
That's a very rich professional background there. Madam, you worked in Boya. My interest is FACO division where you worked before resigning. What is the rationale behind your resignation? Because we've often heard you talk about how you love Cameroon, the opportunity given to you by the government of Cameroon to serve the nation. One will be wondering why you would resign and instead move to Canada.
Yeah, thank you, Lasha. Thank you. That's the more reason why I resigned, because I actually love Cameroon. I love Cameroon without reservation. As much as Canada gives me, I still feel like I have to be home for my people. But this is exactly what happened. When I was appointed as a regional chief of police, the police control of all services, this includes, most people think police is just for the police people. No. So it included the governors, the SDOs, the DOs, the traditional rulers, the Sonara directors, all the services in Southwest, I was supposed to control the internal activities of the services in relation to corruption.
Yes.
So when I was appointed, I sincerely thought they actually wanted to fight against corruption in Southwest region, because at that time there were 10 commissioners appointed in the 10 provinces, but I was the only lady who was appointed in Southwest. And I was kind of hinted that because of my disciplined attitude, strictness, they will be expecting a lot from me. I didn't know that was just a kind of way to make people think they are actually doing something serious. So I went ahead and I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do. And it got to a point where the indigenes of Fcfa made a report to me. They came to my service and deposited an application.
Yes.
And yes, they said they were ready to file a suit against the administrative authorities because of the sale of land. Then I said, well, this is something very serious. I have to investigate it. And that's why I went into the investigation of the
land grabbing saga in Fcfa division. Land grabbing.
Yes, I went into this, I went into this investigation, and unfortunately, or I don't know whether it's fortunately, unfortunately, the mayor of Boya, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Kmer, was the head of everything. He was very involved because he had taken over a village which he wasn't supposed to. He connived with the administrative authorities and got himself appointed as the chief of that village. Meanwhile, he did not even come from that village. So that was where the whole thing came up. So when I tried to get this straight to my bosses in Yaoundé, they all had tied hands because most of them were involved in the land saga. And that's where my problem started from. And at one point, I tried to go to court and make sure justice was done, but the system being what it is, it actually failed me, and I thought it very, very wise to leave the country as soon as I could.
When you look at CDC today, CDC is crumbling, the crops are being felled down. Are you weeping for CDC?
Yes, I am. I'm weeping for Cameroon as a whole, because all these things you see happening today were things I saw years back. I was trained to see things before time, and and make reports, and that's exactly what I did. When I worked as a special branch commissioner, I had the opportunity to lay hands on a lot of those cases where there were fake villages created, fake chiefs. You have a place like Lisoka village, not Lisoka rather, I'm sorry. There's a village, I've forgotten the name, but there's a village just after Tiko going towards Mondoni. I can't remember the village.
Yes,
so
right on.
They created that village. Can you remember?
Right on.
Yes, so they created that village. There was nothing existing. They created that village basically because they wanted to grab the land that was involved there. And this was done with administrative authorities because they had their own share in the land. And you can imagine the government finally gave the land to the chief, the said chief, because that chief never existed. That chief is not even from that village. They gave it to him. Together with the administrative authorities, they shared the land, and they were selling land to whoever they wanted to sell the land. So those, even in those villages, had nothing. If the administrative authorities or the system was a normal system, they would have taken action at the time, and we wouldn't have gotten to where we are today. Even with the Anglophone crisis, I warned them about the Anglophone crisis well beforehand. I told them, what is happening to the Anglophones, you may be taking it lightly, but believe me, in a few years, you may not be able to handle it. So I'll advise that you try to start handling it from now. Even in my resignation letter, I mentioned it there. But as usual, they thought They were above the law. They had Cameroon in their hands. Cameroon belonged to them, and they did nothing. And that's why we are where we are today. And the CDC is crumbling. Believe me, it's not only because of the Anglophone crisis. Everything there just went down the drain. They gave land to chiefs who were not even chiefs, and these chiefs shared the land amongst themselves, and the villagers themselves, those who are supposed to own these lands, have nothing. They are living in abject poverty, and most of them, to even have a piece of this land to build a house, they are asked sometimes to pay. Some of them pay 500,000 francs, some of them pay a million and 1.5 million francs just to get a piece of land. Meanwhile, the objective was to get all villagers or indigenes settled in their respective villages with this land that they gave to them. Yeah.
Okay, madam, let's now talk about this, what they call in French in quote, bras de fer between the government of Cameroon and opposition leader Professor Maurice Kamto. He is saying that he's going to take to the streets come September 22 in a bid to oust Biya. As somebody who has been in the system, of course, a member of the security force, do you think Kamto got what it takes to be able to oust Biya from power?
So, Mr. Lasha, just to let you know, I've always said it, and I will always say it, because I think my responsibility is to make Cameroonians know exactly what they can do, what they can't do, and what is supposed to be done. And unfortunately, we have really hard-headed people who think they can always do things and get away with it. My 17 years as a commissioner of police in Cameroon should not be taken for granted. I think if anybody knows the place, it should be people like me. And I was not just that kind of commissioner of police who sat in my office and waited for documents to come for me to sign. I'm the kind of investigative commissioner. I'm the kind of person who tried to go out there and see what is going on with the population. I'm a kind of person who tries to reach out to the people, because I think justice is the best thing I would like to have anywhere I am. But today the opposition, I think, never even listens. Even before elections, I remember I made several posts telling them exactly what can be done, but I don't know what they were counting on, and they found themselves where they are today. And it is very clear. We don't have to go to all the books in the world or all the libraries to know what the BS system or the government is capable of doing. We have had results. We have seen Anglophones come out. We have seen them go to the streets, and we've seen the results. This is a conventional army. We cannot stand to face them if we are not ready to face them. And that is why I've always told people, if you cannot do it just like me, I can't do it for now. I don't have the resources. I don't have anything. I'll sit in my small corner and wait for the right time to be able to help Cameroonians. If you can't do it, don't keep making people go left and right. You destabilize everybody. Cameroonians are going through a very hard time right now. Poverty and everything. People are starving with the COVID and everything. There's so much on their plates that they don't need the opposition to come up and start telling them things which will not exist. The system, Mr. Biya's government, knows no language but the guns. And when I mean the guns, I don't mean what the Ambazonians are doing, because what the Ambazonians are doing is very, very unprofessional. Yes. It's very unprofessional, and that's why we have a lot of loss of lives. So I'm not talking of that. I'm talking of a well-strategized program, a plan. Let them put a plan in action if they want to stand against the system. Mr. Kamto says he's going to the streets on the 22nd, which is not a bad thing at all, if he had what it takes to go to the streets, because
he got the population. When you look at those images are the images we got last time he came to Douala. He pulled mammoth crowd. Don't you think this crowd could be an asset to Professor Maurice Kamto?
No, Cameroonians will not come out. Cameroonians, I know them very well. They will not come out. There are people who will not want to die. The only people I've seen who enjoy dying unnecessarily are Anglophones. Francophones will not come out to die. And believe me, Mr. Bia's system will not watch them. It's not. We don't have a Republican army that will, walk the protesting crowd. No, they won't do that. They will use every means. What Mr. Tanganji has said is what he will do. Unfortunately, it's what he will do. Now, the question is, Mr. Kamto knows very well. He's been in this system. He's worked for this system for many years. So I don't expect him to make the mistake other people should be making.
So he's deceiving Cameroonians to go and die for nothing. He's deceiving Cameroonians to go and die for nothing.
That's right. They will definitely die for nothing if they attempt to do it. Because what Mr. Kamto should have done, he knows what he should have done. He knows that to face, if you cannot wait for the elections, I have told them, if he can't wait for 2025, if he cannot wait and he wants to have it right now, as he says he won the elections, if he thinks he actually won the elections and he thinks he actually has to be in a 2D, then he has to go the Mali way. He has to get into the military, try to work with the military so the military can oblige Bia to resign. That's the only way Bia can leave power today if it's not through elections. I should be very honest with all Cameroonians. Anybody who thinks Bia will leave through people going to the streets or diplomatic or whatever, or France or Germany will come and say this or that, it's a lie. It's never going to happen in that country. And whenever I write all of these things on Facebook, people think it's because I'm connected to the government. Lasha, I want to tell you this, I'm telling you this publicly. I'm telling you this for the world to hear me. I will never work with this system because it's a bad system. I witnessed it myself. I experienced how bad they are. So all I'm waiting for is, even if it's 100 years, I'm waiting for the time they will leave Cameroon in peace. So there is no way I can support them or defend them. But I have to speak the truth to my people. I have to speak the truth to Cameroonians because I don't like seeing youth dying unnecessarily. I don't like it. I really feel bad whenever I get up in the morning and as soon as I touch my phone, the first thing I see, oh, they killed these people, they killed. No. So if you don't have what it takes, if you are not ready to have a face-to-face battle with the Cameroon military, please leave them alone.
Some individuals are saying that Professor Maurice Kamto had gone to abroad and he has done his lobby and finally he's gotten those who watch over his back.
I can't say anything about that because I don't know how much lobby he did. So I can't say anything about that. But what I think is, what I know from my experience, there is nothing like lobbying without your personal defense. If Maurice Kamto has no armed group or no military setup anywhere, let him forget it because I know I don't trust international communities and their promises. They will work with whoever is ready. I don't know how ready Mr. Kamto is. If Mr. Kamto is ready just to walk people to the streets, I'm sorry about that. If he doesn't have enough people to do it for him, it's going to fail as usual. And I know Cameroonians will not want to risk their lives. And I know this government is ready. This government is ready to eliminate as many people as they can just to stay in power. So whoever comes out on that day should be psychologically and physically ready to face them. And I don't find that necessary. I don't find that necessary at all. If Kamto wanted to take over power by force, he knows what to do. Get your military to face the Cameroon military. That's it. So it is between two militaries. Don't get the civilian population involved. That is where I am against anybody who involves the civilians. I am really against you, and I'm so upset about that. So if you want to get to power, yes, if you want to get to power without going through elections, get your military ready and go and do it with Cameroon military. So it's going to be a military thing, and the civilians are not involved. So until Kamto is ready to do that, and I don't think he's ready to do that because he said he cannot go to a 2D on the blood of Cameroonians. That's clear that he's not ready to get into any physical battle with the Cameroon military. So if you are not ready to do that, just go fold your arms and wait for 2025 and go for elections if you can. That's the only thing I can tell him to do. Right now, what he's doing to me is a kind of getting people really mixed up. Anyway, those who want to listen to what he's saying and those who want to follow him will get confused every day because there is no way Biya is going to leave a 2D without being pushed out by force or through elections or he dies. So those are the only ways, yes, those are the three ways he can be pushed out of a 2D. Okay. Talking of the population or Cameroonians walking to a 2D, I don't see that happening. If it happens today, it will be a miracle to me, Lasha. It's going to really be a miracle, which I will be happy about it because I actually want him to leave.
Okay.
The KDS in power.
Okay. This as a security expert, what is the problem with Cameroon, and what do you think should be done to stop this multiple violence that we are having in Cameroon?
So the first thing I think it should be done is the change of system. I have always said this. There is this thing, people, they find it hard to do any negotiations with Anglophones. They find it hard to ask them to drop their weapons. They find it hard to actually make them understand that Cameroon cannot be divided. And this is not only affecting those who call themselves Amber Boys or their leaders in the diaspora. It's affecting the ordinary man who is not interested in that mission. But peace is not happening any time from now if Biya's regime stays in power. The first thing they should do is to leave because they've just done more than they could do. Yes, they have stayed there for 38 years. They have done what they have done. It's time for them to leave, for the younger generation to take over. I don't respect people who will decide to be in power after 80, after 90. It's a shame. It's a disgrace to Cameroon as a whole.
The question now is how. That's what Kamto is trying to do. The question is how.
Yes, how is the first thing, as I said, the first thing is Biya should go. And the only way Biya can go, is by going the Mali way, where the military will be involved. If it's a Republican army, they'll be involved and there will be no casualties, but they'll oblige the president to leave because he's very old and he really doesn't.
Do you see that with a lawyer? Do you see that happening with a loyal Cameroonian army? They are very loyal. You yourself, you happen to have worked with the system, and you were too loyal. You were also loyal to the regime.
Very loyal at the time, and that's why I left, because whilst there you cannot do anything because it's like a kind of traumatized environment. Everything you do must be yes, Mr. Biya, yes, Mr. Delegate General of National Security, yes, yes, yes. And when I couldn't say this yes, it was so hard for me, so I had to leave. So what I'm saying is that the loyal army can never, I don't see them unless this comes from a different sector, which I may not want to say it publicly, but if it comes from a different sector, it can work. But if it doesn't, Kamto has to take his responsibility and face the military. If he thinks he cannot face the military, then for now we should forget it and wait for Biya's death. If Biya has to die 100 years after, Cameroon has to wait. Even
after the death of Biya, do you see a smooth transition in Cameroon?
Yes, after the death of Biya, if Biya is no longer in power, because Biya has a stronghold in so many communities, including international communities and all. If Biya is no longer there, trust me, Lasha, you will understand that Cameroon has experts, because by the grace of God, we'll make sure all those, I don't want to use the appropriate word for them, but all those who think they have exploited all the resources, they have emptied the treasuries, and they are keeping so much money ready to destabilize Cameroon when Biagu leaves, they are wasting their time. I should be very, very honest with them, because there are people, there are professionals who are watching.
Yes.
They will not come out today. Yes, they will not come out today, but they will wait. If Bia is no longer there, those who are there right now, who think they have kept so much money to destabilize Cameroon, will have to face Cameroonians. This is a declaration I'm making, that they should know that if Bia is no longer in power, all those people who have large mouths, who are talking now and making noise here and there, they know nothing about that nation. And that is when they'll know that there are people who understand that nation and will get things right. They will get things done rightly. So to me, that's why I say, to me, just if you can't throw Bia out through his military, then watch him die in power.
Let us
I don't have a problem with him dying in power right now. Yeah.
Let us end with this last question, Madame Hélène Essoka. It should be recalled that you are the CEO of Essoka Afrique, based in Canada. You're equally the former commissioner of police, who has worked with the government of Cameroon for over 17 years before resigning due to land saga or land grabbing over there in the southwest region of Cameroon. Are you also of the school of thought that the best option to stop the madness, what many people call madness in the northwest and southwest, is military?
Can you take that question again, please?
Are you of the opinion that the best option to stop what many term madness over there in the northwest and southwest region is military?
I wouldn't say yes or no, but the way I look at it, I look at it as a professional. I have a professional way, which I would not like. No security person would like to openly
say
put out his or her strategy. But what is happening in northwest and southwest regions, to me, it's a joke. And if there is a serious system in place, there is a method to end that thing. There is a method to end that thing, and this method will consist of making concessions. Both parties will make concessions.
They will have to sacrifice something.
Yes, so everybody will give up something. And me personally, if I happen to be a decision maker today in regards to that, the first thing I will ask the government to give up is let Cameroon have federation. Let Cameroon have a 10-state federation. And Lasha, those who will not align to that, because the whole talk about the Anglophone thing is about them not being able to manage their affairs. It's about them not being able to exploit their language, their judicial system, and whatever. So when you are given the opportunity to do all of these things, and you still insist on dividing Cameroon, professionals will know how to settle that, and that's going to take a very short time, because it's not going to be the nonsense. They keep going to kill civilians, attacking people who are not concerned with the thing, and leaving those ringleaders enjoying themselves here and there. It's not going to look like that. So to me, I will remain reserved as to what program I can put in place if I'm given the opportunity to take a decision on that. But the first thing I say is that the government has to make concessions, because what they are also doing is a joke. They can't keep talking of decentralization, which they themselves, that law was passed years back, I think 1996, and they never thought of implementing it. Today, when they see Anglophones talking about this and that, they start saying, oh, they want to implement. That's a lie. That's a joke. So It's not decentralization Cameroonians want today. It's a kind of federation where each region is independent. And why I know many people say it should be 2 states. It should be 2 states. It can't be 2 states, because the northwest and southwest regions are not in good terms.
They will never agree.
Yes, no one should believe that thing that Amazonians are saying that, Northwest and Southwest people are together. We are not together. It's a fact. We are not together. It's time for Northwesterners to manage their affairs and Southwesterners manage theirs. Because believe me, if you put two state federation and you ask Southwest and Northwesterners to be together, that's another war we are going to create in the future. Because there are Southwesterners who won't want to listen to that anymore. They think Northwesterners are many, and they will always, when they talk of democracy and elections, they will always come and say, okay, if you want this position, we should go for elections. And if they have to go for elections, the Northwesterners will definitely win. So please, if I'm asked to do it, if I am in a position to do it, it's 10 state federation or nothing. I will not go for any 2 state federation, because that will be another 10 to 20 years that you are going to solve the Southwest Northwest problem.
Madam Helen Esoka, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule from Canada to talk to My Media Prime. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Lasha. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to at least have an opportunity to tell Cameroonians exactly what I feel. And I think for those who have ears, this is really a great opportunity to understand what we are supposed to do and just do the right thing and let this nation continue in peace.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.